Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. I'm Glenn Young, owner of Amazon's Fitness Magazine. And I just lost Shelly. Hopefully I'll be able to get her back here in a second. And yep, I think I got her.
Yep.
All right, got you.
Yes.
Welcome to the Amazon's podcast. This is the 100th episode of the Amazon podcast. So this is pretty exciting and couldn't start it off with a better guest. IFBB Fitness Olympia, Michelle Mensah.
Yes.
How are you?
I am good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. Glad we were able to match up the times and everything. So for those that don't know or don't follow you on your YouTube channel, which is the same, Shelly Fit at IFBB Pro, go and subscribe right now. Tell us a little bit about you, but most importantly, now that looking back at the Olympia in October, how you feeling post Olympia?
I feel good actually. It is my third year as a pro and amateur, because as people know, I don't have to keep repeating it, but I was only amateur for 4 weeks.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I'm still growing, still improving. I wouldn't say growing in muscle per se, but I'm still growing as as a fitness competitor at this level. And I just wanted to make improvements, every year or every show that I do. And I felt that I did that. I stepped it up, I think, with the energy that I had going across the Olympias that I've done. So I've done 2. And I felt like I brought a different package as well in terms of my body. So I guess that's all you can do. And then keep moving forward. And I was just extremely grateful to be on the stage at the 60th edition. Yes. And after coming off the back of a major injury as well. So managed to get myself to Atlanta and then qualify for Olympia, which was my only pro show this year. So
and that's where I saw you. And I was like, wow. And you came out of that Black Panther at the Linda Murray Atlanta Pro. So yeah, I was like, wow, who is this? And so from that point, I've been following you. I was like, well, I got to get her on. If nothing else, shoot her for the magazine. So it was great to see you.
Thank you.
Great routine. How is it that you come up with a routine? What goes into that? Because you have to get in character. You have to go like an alter ego. How much time do you put into that?
A lot of time. I mean, it's 70% of our mark.
Right.
So I take it very seriously in terms of, how I'm going to structure my routine. But at the same time, I want to be myself. I want something that I resonate with, that I can have fun with. And then obviously cover the things we need to cover, of course.
Right.
And then be creative with it as well. Black Panther to me is a film that I love to watch time and time again. And I love the morals, the story behind it and the power that it exudes. So I wanted to exude that on stage. When I was a gymnast, because I was a national gymnast before I did bodybuilding, I wasn't known as powerful. I was known as very nimble and, just beautiful lines, but never power. So it wasn't until I did bodybuilding and then put the two together, all my fitness skills. And then I was like, whoa, I've got a lot of power, I think, because I built up a lot of strength. So I wanted to really show that and make an impact on stage.
And you're really known for your legs.
Thank you. Well,
your legs.
These are very slim legs.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting there front row. I was like, wow, who is this? So it really made an impression on me. And of course, obviously the judges as you qualified and went on to the Olympia.
Yeah. Oh,
so
that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed because I'm like, with the fitness category, there's not a lot of shows per se. I mean, there was Atlanta, Tampa, obviously the Olympia, and then of course the Arnold's and Arnold's UK. But there's really not a lot of fitness shows. I mean, Della Garcia does her thing there in Texas. But how can we get more fitness Olympia shows or fitness shows? The fitness category added, I guess. And I know it goes into sanction fees and what the promoters want to do. But I mean, to me, with fitness, you really should have to pay twice, once for the routine and then once for the posing, in my
Yeah.
mind. But
Well, yes, but I think it's the funding when it comes to the fitness category, and obviously there's not a lot of us to get for them to recruit back. So I'm forever grateful for the ones who do put it on, because I know it's super hard. And obviously it's very niche what we do. You have to, because you have to do the routine, and it's, it's weighted so heavily. And then obviously the body as well, doing things depleted and skills at a high level. But I think it's just raising awareness now, showing others that they can do it. They don't necessarily have to backflip. It's not a mandatory skill to backflip into somersault. The four mandatory skills is a push-up of any kind. It's a straddle hold. It's a side kick and a side split. So you can make a very powerful routine of those skills, from, any background, just like you do bodybuilding, you can, study it and learn it. And I know a few people have done that. They have no gymnastic background, cheerleading, dancing, all these backgrounds that people have. And they just literally just worked at it like a sport. So I think that's the awareness we need to raise. I'm hoping to do that over here as well, because I realize not a lot of people know about the category, or they're confused about it. So I have made discussions about, potentially doing some workshops, doing a fitness fun day. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy or too structured. But, covering a couple of the skills that we do, like Superman push-ups, just make it super fun. And just, go through, what it takes to, to be fit, to do fitness. I also thought about doing some workshops within gymnastics remit, because I am an ex-gymnast, and I'm still very involved with British gymnastics over here. So I thought maybe I should utilize this. And, I think if we all come together and can raise awareness about the category, hopefully we can get more people on board. I think that's the gap, especially over here across the pond. Anyways, there's just me right now on the circuit. So
that's hard to believe, too. But I mean, it is what it is. It's definitely a sport from the standpoint, you being a former gymnast. You guys have an advantage over someone that came from a cheerleading background. I would
came
say
from both. So
yeah. So when you look at it, how did you go from gymnast to say, hey, I'm going to do this in reference to bodybuilding? How was that transition?
So from gymnastics, I actually went to cheerleading. I didn't know cheerleading was in this country. I was very surprised, actually, because I just thought it was something you do in the States. It wasn't until I went to university, which is college over there. And they had a cheerleading table, at Freshers Week, the first year you enter. And, you pick your sports. I think it's the same over there. I'm not sure. So, okay. So there was no gymnastics. It's the same thing. So there was no gymnastics, but there was cheerleading. And I was like, I'm going to join cheerleading because it's like gymnastics. I joined the university squads, and then they managed to bring in a external choreographer and a cheerleading coach. And it wasn't until then they pulled me aside at one of the practices and was like, do you want to try out for our all-stars team? And I was like, all-stars team? They're like, yes, it's a private team. We go to Worlds. I was like, Worlds? I was like, what's Worlds? They're like, you Worlds? Like, we compete against everyone in the world. I was like, in Florida? I was like, huh?
Wow.
So I got scouted for that and ended up on a Worlds team in Florida doing cheerleading eventually. And then from there, I had a gap because I tore my ligament in my ankle, and I broke one of my ankles in 2 places. So I was braced up when I did my cheerleading Worlds debut. But I did a great routine, got through, had so much fun. So I decided after that I was going to take a break to heal up everything. And then I kind of was like, I don't know what to do. Like, because everything that I did was quite strenuous on my joints, and I thought I wanted to do something that has more longevity.
Right.
So I eventually joined the gym at the age of 30.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I ever lifted a weight, was 218, June 22nd. I do remember the date.
Wow. Okay.
I found the whole experience quite frustrating, and I hated it, actually. And I was like, I can't lift this leg press. I'm struggling. I was shaking. I was like, what is this? I was so overwhelmed. But then that overwhelming experience plus frustration was like, I want to kind of crack this. So I found myself just, right, let's go to the gym again. And then before you know it, I was like, wow, I'm actually loving this. It's quite challenging and hard, and I like hard things. And then someone came up to me one day and was just talking about competing, and it's very inspiring, actually. And I was like, and they were, and then it kind of resonated in my head. And I said, oh, so how do I get into this? They're like, well, you probably need a coach. I was like, okay. Got a coach. Then started to build muscle. Realized that my upper body built more than my legs. My legs were like chilling on the beach somewhere. I don't know, wasn't growing well. So I actually went through a period where I didn't train any upper body for a year, and just trained pure legs to even myself out. And then after that whole evening out my body, I then went to a normal, schedule in terms of training. And then someone was telling me the first ever Arnold's UK was coming. And I was like, ooh. And then I watched the trailer, and then the trailer was like, oh, if you do the show on Friday, get your pro card, you'll be invited to the pro show, and who knows, you could go to Olympia. I was like, what kind of crazy person will do that? Wow, that's a lot. Anyways, it ended up being me. So that is exactly what happened. I had to do a regional before stepping on the Arnold stage. Everyone does, around the world. So I did that 4 weeks prior. Won my class, won fitness, actually won a few in figure as well. So I did figure and fitness. And then stepped on the Arnold stage. And that's when literally everything just blew up for me. Got my pro card on the Friday. Then the Saturday, won the pro show and got my first Olympia qualification.
That's amazing. I mean, you blew up really quickly. Whoever was scouting you was dead on that you should have done it. And I'm so glad that you did. And look at you now.
Yeah. So here I am, 3rd year in, and I'm still loving it.
3 Olympias in. That's great. Talk to me about, you mentioned depletion and then going to do a routine. How hard is that to push through it? Because you're hungry, you're fully dehydrated, and now, unlike the other categories where you're just doing the posing and that's pretty much it, you're going into a full-blown routine of backflips, all the mandatories you mentioned. I mean, how hard is that? How do you manage that?
So it's mind over matter, really. It is hard. Don't get me wrong. When I first had to go through this, I was like, wow. Because I was used to doing my routine, any routine I did before that, with a whole bunch of sugar. I'm gonna be very honest. I did not watch what I ate. I was very slim. What's the term? Skinny. That's what I was called. I remember being told I could hula hoop through a Cheerio. That's how small I was. So
wow.
Now I get stuck, but and so I thought, you know what? It was overwhelming at first. Again, same experience when I first started doing the weights. And then that frustration was like, I'm going to crack this. So that's how I gone through bodybuilding, is trying to crack things like a code, and, find out how I can do it, to fit my body and get through it, and also make my mind stronger. And then in the meantime, while I was going through this process, my daughter, she is also an elite gymnast now herself.
Oh, there you go. Following in your shoes. That's great.
Yeah, she loves it as well. So she I think she saw that and it made her strong-minder, like more, resilient as well. So that also kept me going because she was like, yeah, let's go. And she kept keeping sweets for me, which was so cute. Or what do you call it over there? Sweets, candy.
Candy, yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So
candy is a wide range, anywhere from chocolate to caramel to taffy. So, I mean, what's your favorite candy?
I
Or do
like
you have
things like Jolly Ranchers you have over there.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, we can't get them over here.
What flavor Jolly Ranchers?
The red one.
Okay, I'm taking notes. So the red or cherry Jolly Ranchers?
The cherry one.
Okay.
I love the cherry one. There's a blue looking one. Yep. And that's my second favorite.
Well, it's very popular over here. So yeah, I'm surprised y'all can't get them over there.
I'm surprised too, but they don't want to give it to us.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for you. That's good stuff.
Oh, well, thank you.
How does your daughter envision you? Was she able to go to Olympia with you? And what did she say about you as an Olympian? Is that something you think she would want to do? She's already becoming a gymnast, so following in your shoes, you think she would start competing one day?
You never know. I mean, she absolutely loves watching my journey. She watches my YouTubes and anything she can find. She Googles me every day.
Wow.
She finds
she
things.
Googles you when you're in the house.
I know she does. She even Googles me when she's like, let's say with my mom. So I wouldn't be able to do this journey without my mom because she takes my daughter to her activities so I can train. And vice versa. And then we work together as a team to get through everything. But yeah, even when she's with her, my mom says she's just watching you, you know?
Yeah.
So, it's just nice to see that she's excited about it as well. And she could, the way she's excited about it, the way she talks about it at school, I know about because she invited me to Parents Careers Day. So I had to do a talk in front of a whole entire class. They had a whole massive PowerPoint about me. It was very surprising, and they made a massive weight, like a weight out of paper, and it had 30 kg on it. And they all signed it and put messages. Yeah, it made me cry. So I know that she's definitely interested, so I guess we'll see.
Did the kids ask you a lot of questions?
They did as well. They were actually very smart. They were asking about carbohydrates, proteins, fats. I was like,
okay. And what grade level is this?
So at the time it was grade 5.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's year 6 here, grade 5. Yeah.
Got you. You mentioned mind over matter. And with the number of injuries that you have had, how hard is it to push your mental? When you look at the injuries that Missy Truscott suffered, Ariel Kadar, I mean, you guys get hurt because you really are the epitome of an athlete. Yeah. How do you push through? How do you handle your mental when it comes to recovering from an injury? I mean, you had everything from torn hamstrings. You mentioned the broken ankle. How do you mentally come back?
Well, apart from the broken ankle hamstring, my hamstring was actually my 7th injury to date.
Jeez.
So I've had a lot of mental experience. So I've done throughout the course of my life, I've done ice skating as well as gymnastics. I did do when I was younger. Also did cheerleading, as you know. I also did ballet. I still do some ballet if you've seen some of my pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great photo shoots, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So each one of them came with various different, injuries. And I remember my first injury, I was, I felt like I was a bit dramatic, but of course you will be.
Yeah. Well, it hurts.
Yeah. I mean, it really hurt. Yeah. And then you have to sit out, which sucks. So I was like, oh, great. And I really wanted to just get up and go. But I think going through all of that and then getting to bodybuilding really helped with me. Because by the time I got to bodybuilding, I felt like I was quite mentally strong from everything I've gone through, and I've gone through all different situations, like really crazy ones as well. And I just remembered my mom telling me when I was younger, there are always options. So that is how I get through. So if I feel like I'm having a bad day, you know, I'm thinking, oh, this, you know, having an injury is bad and it sucks and all of this. I always remember her saying, there are options. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, maybe that day I need to just do, you know, things around it to not aggravate it. So that's what I'll do. At least if I keep doing something, it will still get me to where I need to get to. And that's how I see it. And I take every day as it comes. I can't say, oh, this Monday this happened, and, you know, next Monday this didn't happen, so I'm annoyed. So no, every day is different. As long as I do as much as I can for that day, or work to failure in weights, or, you know, my fitness routine, that's all I can do.
Yeah. Well, again, I've become a big fan after seeing you in Atlanta, and so you looked amazing, and I know you're going to go on and do greater things after 3 Olympias. But I got to ask you, did you watch the Olympics over the summer? Did you able to peek in? What did you think of the gymnast routines? Simone Biles and the whole USA team. Well, all of them in general. I mean, you know. It's USA. What can I say? But
okay, yeah. I mean, Simone Biles, I was so happy she came back, especially after her, you know, what's happened to her. She had a lot of hatred online as well. I follow her a lot. I follow all her documentaries, her entire journey. Also, I'm still involved with British Gymnastics over here. And I am on the judging panel of British Gymnastics, the committee as well. There you go. I have to know what she's bringing in.
Right.
For the code of points over here, because, you know, the code of points is worldwide. So once it changes every cycle. So I did watch, you know, to see how we compared as well, to see how we can bring up our gymnastics. And I also watched other sports too, because I like diving. I love
the sprints.
Yep, I love athletics. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, all of it. All of it. So yeah, I was watching. I even watched the Paralympics as well.
Yeah. I watched some of it.
Yeah.
And like I say, it's mental. It's amazing to see what they can do, but then you sort of forget as a fan and someone watching. They've been training for this for 4 years to get to this one moment. You know, farther beyond that. But I mean, with the Olympics being every 4 years and then having to qualify, I mean, make the team. I mean, a lot goes into it.
It does, and it also helps me get through, you know, my journey as well, because they go through 4 years, and, you know, I'm thinking, hold on, I just need to get through 14 weeks, and they're doing 4 years, and, you
for
know,
one moment,
exactly, and they're not letting any day not count, so got to do the same.
So let me put on your coaching hat, and you're recruiting competitors to come into fitness.
Yes.
Given the Olympics, you know, obviously Simone Biles will be on your list. That would be great. How would you recruit them?
How would I? As I said, I would probably do a workshop, because, again, gymnastics and what we need to do in bodybuilding is a little bit different. So I would, let's say, you know, a group of gymnasts were very intrigued by it. I would do a fun workshop in the gymnastics setting, and then let them know what it's about, you know, and give them a talk, but in a fun way, on how they could transfer over if they want something to do after gymnastics, because it doesn't have a massive lifespan. And you can, you know, you can go on into your 40s, you know, some people are 50s and they're still going strong in fitness. So I think I would have to go from that stance and say, you know, we can still have fun in gymnastics. You can build a great body as well, and be creative with it. More creative than we have been as a gymnast, because, you know, gymnastics is quite regimented. We have the skills you need to get. So, you know, maybe bring that side out a bit more. You can, you know, do skills as long as you cover the mandatories, do skills that you've always wanted to do, have fun with it, you know. So I would definitely come from that stance, and then see how they feel from there. And if they want obviously extra, you know, sessions on it, I would do that. Any questions they want to answer as well, I would hold like, you know, little Zoom calls and stuff like that on various different topics, and then go from there.
So there you go. There you have it. Everybody needs to get involved. And a lot of times you could be very trained and the very person that could be on stage beating you. But that's the humility about it, because you want whoever's coming behind you to be better. And especially if it's someone you recruited or you coach. So how important is the flooring? That was a common thing that came up throughout last year's season, is the flooring. Even when the Olympics before, when Missy Truscott got hurt, what type should the flooring be? I mean, should there be a change in that, or what's the best for you guys? Because you're one that's out there taking the high risk maneuvers and staying to get hurt.
Well, what I do know, one of the difficulties about, let's say, you know, gymnasts coming into this is the flooring. They do perform their skills on a sprung floor. And you know, as we know, the floor is very hard. Very different, very various different surfaces, which I had to learn extremely quickly. You know, and I know it's not the fault of the promoters if that's the venue they get. And I know obviously changing a whole entire stage floor is, you know, can be quite costly. As well as you know, trying to even organize it is a lot, especially if people are not even showing up to shows. So
that's another point. You know, the promoters do all this and then they don't show up for shows.
Only sad part is, you know, me as an international, I would love to show up to every show, but I can't travel. Again, it's, you know, for me it's very costly. I have to think about what shows I show up to. But what I do is I try to support through getting a lot of people on the streams, you know, as much as I can, and you know, trying to raise awareness of fitness so that we can maybe grow over here, rather than, you know, us trying to spend, you know, all our money trying to get over there. You know, I think the best way is to just try and support over here as much as we can. But the flooring is something that I think should be considered, because, you know, some stages are shiny and slippery, and I personally, I don't care how hard it is, I just don't want to slip. And I've slipped a couple times in my push-ups, and, you know, depending on what sort of flooring is on it, in terms of like if it's that wooden floor or if it's the I think like a black vinyl sort of layer over it. Tiling. I think the best one is when a carpet's laid over, because that way I won't slip. That's been my best flooring in terms of my skills and the safety of them. I think Arnold US and the Olympia have this sort of flooring. Spongy floor is not good for handstands.
But probably good for flips and landing, though.
It's good for flips. And sprung floor is not good for handstands either. So I think a floor with a carpet over it, I will be super happy if that was like streamed everywhere. Because then I'll be able to do handstands and feel safe. And not slip on any other skills, and feel sturdy enough and be able to absorb the floor and do any flips.
What is the cost involved for you to come to the US to do a show or any show? I mean, is it that much different from any other the 5 other women's categories, other than you guys got the gymnastics? But is there anything different cost involved other than the normal lodging and travel, and of course you want to get there as early as possible so that you're not dealing with, you know, with your case, I guess you got to get acclimatized a little bit.
Yes, I do. I think I'm the same for any category traveling, because we still have all the same costs in terms of airplane tickets. My airplane tickets can be, I think my most expensive is like £1,400, which is $1,600. So when I do go to a pro show, I'm actually not thinking about money, to be fair, because I've already, even if I came first and I win my prize money, I could still be in a deficit.
Right. Well,
for
you
me,
already committed to it, but
yeah. So, I literally do it because I want to go to either, qualify for Olympia,
right.
or I just genuinely want to do shows, and I want to just have fun on stage and show what I love to do. But the only place I can do it is in the States at the moment. So
that is crazy.
Yeah.
So obviously you need to move to the States, right?
Yeah, we'll see what the future holds.
Just saying.
I know, right?
Yeah. And looking at the future, have you thought about, how long you want to do this? What are your short-term and long-term goals?
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do this for a long time. I absolutely love what I'm doing now. Obviously, I know the mind can change.
Right.
But I feel like I'm just at the beginning, and the people I'm going against have been doing it for years and years and years and years. And 3 years in, they're like, "Oh, you're still a baby."
Yeah.
So I think I have a lot more to learn and a lot more to improve and a lot more to show. That's for sure. So I'm just finding my feet, I feel, even though I am extremely grateful for the fact that I am at the top finding my feet. I mean,
yeah, you came up quickly.
Yeah, and that could get over. That did at one point got overwhelming for a sec, but because I had good mentors, so my coach Whitney Jones, she's got me through everything.
Yes,
made me very, very resilient, I have to say.
And that's someone when she dislocated her shoulder and she just like, screw it, let's go pop it back in, and to go out there and finish her routine, I was just like,
yep,
amazed. And that that's what it's. You guys are just different, and you gotta it's not that one category is better than the other, but you guys are very different, and you go through very different things. And to see the injuries up close, and the gut through, and to come back from an injury, so much applause. And yes, Whitney Jones is amazing.
Yeah, so she's been with me from the time I won, everything that day. That day, I contacted her, and she's literally got me through and supported me like no other throughout my whole entire journey.
So, what was that like when you reached out to her to ask her to be your coach? What was that conversation like?
It was a very nice conversation. I didn't expect her to get back to me actually so quickly.
Really? Okay.
No, because I was like, I'm just a nobody really, just at this point. And she's so inspiring and big, and she's won Olympia, and I was like, but I thought, let me just press the button, send the message.
Right.
And when I saw her name come up so quick, I was like, she's responded. I didn't open it for a good hour.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure she's gonna say no, but no, she was just like, yeah, of course. And she said she watched me at the Arnolds as well, so that was exciting.
That's great.
And she's happy to have me on board, and she's there for me to support me through throughout anything in this journey. And then she just said, "Let's go." I was like, "Let's go."
That's great.
So yeah, and now we have such a great relationship in terms of I talk to her as a friend. I can go to her about anything, even if it's not fitness related. She genuinely cares about like my life around it as well. So I couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're moving to Arizona then.
No.
I got it all planned out for you.
I can see, yeah.
That's good stuff. I'll let you out of here on this one. When you look at the 2025 season, you got the Arnolds. Are there any shows out there when you look at the map? Because it's going to be the same shows. Hopefully they'll add fitness, like the Pittsburgh Pro, for example, would be great. Atlanta and Tampa, of course. But have you looked at the map of like what are your plans for the 2025 season?
So Pittsburgh, does that have fitness?
No, but maybe you can get them to add it. I wish that they would.
Yeah, I wish they would.
There's a lot of shows, But I fully expect to be the same shows. Adela Garcia, her show, she's got a pro-am in June.
I've always wanted to do the Adela
in Atlanta, huh?
I've always wanted to do the Adela. It's just so I was injured this year and the timings weren't good. But I most definitely would like to do Atlanta again. I had such a great experience with Linda Murray as well.
Great show. I enjoyed myself as a fan.
Good.
Being there. It was expensive VIP tickets, but it is if you're gonna go to a show, put it in your budget and get the full Monty, get the VIP, get up front, the whole deal, so you can see what's going on.
Exactly. I believe in that as well. Like I'm a 0 to 100 person, so if you're gonna do something, do it well.
There you go.
So I'm hoping to do that one. Yeah, that'll be nice. And then go to Olympia.
What about the Arnolds?
And the Arnolds, yes, of course. So Arnolds is the first stop, USA. If there is an Arnolds UK, again, Arnolds UK. Atlanta. Possibly could see me in Adela. I might do a tour this year.
In Texas, that would be great.
And then hit Olympia. That would be the dream.
Look forward to seeing you this season. Are you going to change your? I promise this is the last question. Are you going to change your routine from the standpoint of you did Black Panther? Can you let us in on what you're thinking about this coming year? What would be your alter ego?
You're gonna have to wait and see, but I have changed my routine, and in fact, it's already done practically.
Oh wow, okay.
I didn't waste no time, so I'm prepared, for next year already. I already have my plan of actions. I'm already practicing my routine, which I'm so excited about. I like to bring something different and fresh. So hopefully you're gonna like the 225 me.
I believe I will.
So.
And thank you so much for coming on the Amazon's podcast. I really appreciate it. And I'll be following you. Keep me posted. And,
I will do.
Cherry Jolly Ranchers.
Yes, Cherry Jolly Ranchers. And thank you for having me, by the way. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Appreciate you coming on. Talk soon.
Yep, talk soon. Okay.
Bye. Michelle Mensah, IFBB Olympian, 3-time Olympian. Great to have her on the 100th episode of Amazon's Fitness Podcast. Love reaching out. So she was so gracious to come on, and really appreciate her and learned a lot, and seeing her live in Atlanta. Amazing show. 5th at the Olympia. So big things coming up in 2025. Want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving as we're going into Thanksgiving week. Coming up on the podcast, I will have Ashley Jones and IFBB, course number 2 in the world, Jessica Reyes Padilla, on Tuesday. Ashley's number 3 in the world now for women's bodybuilding, so automatically qualified. So looking to talk with them. And then, of course, at the end of the week, I will have Hella Trevino and talk to all of them about their experience with this past year's Olympia and what are their plans for 2025. So I will see you guys soon. Thanks for checking us out. Like, share, and subscribe to the Amazon's Fitness magazine, amazonsfitmag.com. The podcast is brought to you by GPS Photography and Video. Why photography and video? Because if a photo is worth 1,000 words, video is worth 1,000,000. GPSphotoandvideo.com. And, of course, Amazon's Fitness magazine is a publication of GPS Photography and Video. So I will see you guys on Tuesday. Talk soon.